This sperm egg theology of sexuality that the church sells, that's all very, very clear. Comes now people who still believe that to have an erotic thought is to commit a sin. Well, that's not fair.
I can't speak for the Pope. I can only speak for myself. And if having erotic impressions are sinful, then all of us, including priests, probably commit sins about 50 times before lunch, huh? Because the world is peopled with attractively erotic humans. That's the way Lady Wisdom, God designed us. That's the way we're made. It's not immoral, it's not dirty, it's not wrong.
Thank God. I feel better already.
Well, you'd feel a lot better after confession, so.
Father Greeley, are most of the Catholics going to confession today?
I would say about a third, the majority do not go every year, right.
Father Greeley, you had mentioned before that the church would not accept the money from the book. What happened to the money? Where is it?
Yeah. Well, I set up a private fund, and the money is going to go to the students and the faculty of inner-city Catholic schools.
Did the church receive it?
The Archdiocese rejected it, so I have to go around the Archdiocese and give it directly to the people.
The end result is the students will have benefits from it.
Now when does this money begin to flow?
Next September.
Next September.
Yeah,
and when does the University of Chicago get its first dollar?
Oh, it's now got his first dollar. It's got his last dollar.
It already has received.
It's got all the money it needs to fill the chair, and they're going to start a search for the professor.
But what was the commitment? As I read, it was published $850.
It was 1.25 million over 3 years.
But the University of Chicago doesn't have 1.2 million in its bank right now.
It does right now at this moment. It has 1.2 million bank earning interest to pay the first year's salary of whoever the professor is.
And that money is in its own trust, and the signatories that are responsible for its disbursement do not include you.
No, it's the University of Chicago and their search committee will figure out who the professors think.
Okay, but the money has already been transferred.
Already been transferred.
Father Greeley, you've written a lot of bestsellers. That's a lot of block collections. How much money have you given the Catholic Church in the past, and have they accepted it?
What do you think of this man?
I'm not quite sure. I think he's a middle-of-the-roader. He doesn't go to the right, and he doesn't go to the left. He walks down the center of the road. He made a commitment to be a priest, but yet he can't. He just sort of goes down the middle of the road.
He writes about it. He's verbal. He expresses
about it, but he doesn't practice it himself.
What doesn't he practice?
Pardon?
I don't know. He sort of skirts the issues. He doesn't come right out and say.
Ask me something, and I'll try not to skirt it.
Is it a sin? Is masturbation a sin?
Well, theoretically, yes. Is it
Theoretically.
Hey, hold it. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Hey, I want to answer
Thou shalt
this.
not theoretically play with thyself. I mean, what does that answer mean?
Give me a chance to answer, huh? Give me a chance to answer.
All right. We'll wait for you.
Yeah, I mean, it is... Now, move back a step. There are moral theological principles, huh? And then there's the practical circumstances in which people find themselves. The moral theological principle would say it's wrong. Most of the people that do it are not really in such a position that they're fully responsible for what they do, so it's not seriously wrong.
In other words, you're a little bit crazy when you masturbate.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, I'm not sure I understand your answer then. We've got this morally theological principle which you say most people can't live up to. So why do we have this principle in the first place? Maybe there's something wrong with the principle. Maybe this wouldn't be a problem if we didn't make it so sinful.
I don't think it's a problem as to sin for most younger Catholics today. They don't think when they're doing it it's wrong, and if they come to confession, they're not going to get chewed out by their priests. Now, whether the whole... Look, I firmly believe that the whole Catholic theory of sexual ethics, sexual morality, needs to be rethought. I'm not the one to do it. I'm saying it should be rethought. And that the situation...
There he goes again. He's got me so confused, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I am too. Let's understand, while we're giggling here about this question, which does make us all just a little bit self-conscious, this is one of the issues over which Father Curran lost his ability to teach at a Catholic university. This is no small issue here. So
I don't think it's a small issue because it influences all of us in our everyday lives.
I agree. So why can't we get, of all people, Father Greeley to come straightforward and in some definitive way tell us how he feels about it. What does your
Because
own moral sense tell
I
you?
am not a moral theologian, and I'm not going to go on the airwaves playing the moral theological role. It wouldn't be right.
This is the problem, you know. We should follow someone. Religion should be an absolute, like love. And you guys are undecided about what's going on. And every time we hear you...
Well, no, that's the Pope is saying that's the very problem.
Yeah,
and the Pope is saying these are the rules. If you don't believe in the rules, then you can't teach. Now, how do you feel about that?
This is a technical society. We know once upon a time you could go over here, be a missionary, and tell this group of people to do this. And then you could go over here and tell this people to do that. But now we can all, you know, we can hear what's happening in Russia right now if we want.
Yeah.
So you got to get together. You got to say one thing. Then we'll
No,
follow you.
I'm not sure
Until
we
you
do.
do, it's like, what's up?
Hang on a minute.
Hey, Phil, let me comment, huh?
What?
Let me comment. I mean, I'm not sure that it's a good thing to try to impose universal principles on everybody without exception. Human nature isn't that way.
That is exactly what the church is doing. That's exactly what the church is doing. It's doing it with abortion. It's doing it with birth control. It's doing it with women and the ministry. It's
Well-
doing it with divorce. That's the problem. Our church is bringing its absolute values to a very imperfect, finite world.
And I'm
it's not
saying
working.
that's why we make the distinction between the absolute values and the given cases and situations.
But the
You
church
can't
does
ap-
not make that distinction,
Yes, it
Father.
does make that distinction. It does make the distinction.
Father Greeley, I would like to know your personal view on abortion.
My personal view is that it's wrong.
How do you feel about Roe v. Wade? How do you feel about the fact, do you believe that a woman should have a right to make the choice?
Well, I think in a society like ours, there's no way you can deny people that.
Against abortion.
He's against it personally. He holds the
I
view
think it's wrong, but I
He
don't.
wouldn't pass a law to disallow her
I
freedom to
don't
make
see
a
how
choice.
we can do that in a society like ours.
By
No.
the same token, you are a celibate, right?
Pardon?
Just think of all those little sperms you are wasting daily. I mean, isn't that a form of contraception and abortion at the same time? You could have so many little babies around.
Well, my sister says God was awfully good to some woman when she gave me a vocation to the priesthood.
Yes.
Well, I personally disagree with abortion, but I want to know
What do you
where
want?
the
Ask
Catholic
him.
Church
Talk to him.
gets the right to tell us what to do. All the answers are in the
What
Bible.
good is a church if it don't have any rules? What do
They
you...
change their rules all the time.
No, they don't. You change it.
Hey,
No.
It's the do-it-yourself faithful going around whatever they want to do and, you know, have crackers for the host and all that. That's what turned people into guitars at Mass.
now, I don't think
you
most
didn't know
people
what
are
it used
turned
to be.
off
You-
by guitars at Mass.
Huh?
I don't think people are turned off by guitar masses. I think they like
It
it.
sort of has a do-it-your-own thing look about it.
Well-
Then why have a church if you can just do whatever you want to do?
What's happened, Phil, is we are now back to the church of the late Middle Ages, where there's a pluralism. We went through the rigidities of the Counter-Reformation. That's over. We have a new, more dynamic, more vital, more pluralistic church. And anybody that wants universal customs and rules that apply to everybody automatically all over the world, you're not going to have that anymore.
Yeah.
It's
You
a
must be-
pluralistic church.
You must be embarrassed by the Vatican Bank. They had to pay several $100,000. A court of law obliged them to pay.
$2 billion.
Well, the
$2
judgment
billion.
wasn't $2 billion. The judgment, as I read, was something like
They
$850,000.
committed themselves to paying back everything that was missed.
And a guy hung himself on the Blackfriars Bridge.
He was
His,
probably murdered.
his
probably
wife
murdered.
jumped. His secretary jumped out the window.
Yeah.
Committed
He was
suicide.
probably murdered. You don't expect me to defend the Vatican Bank. That doesn't go with ordination that you defend.
Aren't you embarrassed by this?
Yeah, I'm terribly embarrassed by it.
Wouldn't you like to see Marcinkus come out from behind the holy walls of the Vatican and speak and meet this problem head on, and let's get this over with in
Yeah,
a court of law?
Sure.
Well, we got an answer from Father Greeley. And we'll be back in just a moment.
The fiber in Kellogg's Mini Wheats helps keep me flying right, but it's the delicious frosting that fuels my youthful appetite.
Small problem. The shredded wheat nutrition gives me that drive, but the kid in me loves to tackle the tasty side.
Kellogg's Mini Wheats. Shredded wheat nutrition for the adult in you. Delicious taste for that part of you that'll never grow up.
The fiber in Mini Wheats gives me a great start. When it comes to the great taste, I'm just a kid at heart.
I'll have what she's having.
At Twin City Dodge Chrysler Plymouth. Oh, our pencil's really smoking. Believe me, we're not joking. We're gonna sell a lot of cars today. We've got all the makes and more than what it takes to make you happy when you drive away.
Come on down to Twin City Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth, and drive away in your new Chrysler, Plymouth, or Dodge. But our Pinter's really smoking at 650 Sagamore Parkway in Lafayette.
You are in serious jeopardy.
Jeopardy? That's my favorite show.
This is no place for a fan.
Jeopardy, weekdays at 4:30 here on TV18.
Jeopardy. Because it's a jungle out there.
Stacy says the biggest gripe she has about your romantic technique. The card, please, Stacy.
You don't do it long enough, and I don't think that's the same answer.
No, it's not.
It's a bim, bam, wham. Thank you, Mom.
Bim, bam!
He was supposed to have dinner with me and called me and told me he couldn't make it after I'd already bought all this dinner. So I put everything in the bag, went down there and dumped it over his head, and walked right out of there.
The new Newlywed Game, weekdays at 4 here on TV18.
Is Rick being set up?
I don't have to prove you're a clever killer. Only a killer.
The ballistics tests match the gun found in your truck. I'm up for murder one and you don't know me. What's going on here?
I just had to have your body.
Will a woman be the end of Simon and Simon?
You're gonna cool in the lockup tonight, and you're welcome to join me.
Tonight on the early edition of News Service 18, we'll fill you in on the work being done to clean up polluted wells on the north side of Lafayette. Join us for the full report on the early edition at 6.
Father Andrew Greeley, hi.
Hi. It seems to me like everybody is asking for advice.
Yes, they are.
And tell us what to do.
Yes,
and when you tell us what you think the Bible says is right and wrong, we don't like it. We say you should change
Well,
things.
there's another thing here. We seem to have a need for Daddy, too, don't we? Tell us what's right. Oh, Father, please, what's the answer to this? And you used to give us the answer. Now you're telling us, well, maybe you're not so sure of the answer, and we're all flopping out here. It was so neat, you know, when you knew all the answers. I miss those days.
It's a lot easier to be a child than to be an adult. And if one thing has happened in the Catholicism of the last quarter century, the Catholic lay people have learned to be religious adults. They make their own decisions, and I rejoice. Let me say something, though. I want to get this out. Catholicism is not rules. We have rules. We probably have too many. I'd like to see a lot of them go. But Catholicism is a way of dealing with God. In one of my books, the heroine who's returning to the church says, what I want back is the midnight mass and May crowning and Holy Communion, grammar school graduations, the Easter vigil. I want all of those things back for myself and my children. What she wants and what keeps people in the Catholic Church isn't the rules. What keeps them in church is the tradition, the community, the stories that bind us together, our common heritage.
But that's a story.
And the rules get in the way oftentimes. And it's that, you know, it's perfectly clear. When people begin to talk about religion, they want to talk about rules. And I don't want to talk about rules. I want to talk about God.
But let me tell you what I'd like.
That's what my novels are about. They're all about God. They're not about what would you like.
I would like back a church that condemns the Vietnam War first instead of last. I would like a church that doesn't send a cardinal to throw holy water on the helicopters. I would like a Catholic church that recognizes that young women are as valuable in God's sight as our young men, and let the girls serve Mass too. I would like a church that honors the work of nuns as much as it honors the work of priests. And I also would like a church that felt it has the same responsibility to build schools in the inner city as it does in the suburbs. The problem with the church is not the money that it has. The problem is the distribution, the Christian distribution of its wealth.
I would agree. I want that kind of church too. And I wouldn't stop at them letting women be altar girls, altar persons, whatever. I want them to be priests.
But they have. Stop.
Yeah, and I don't like it. And I want women to be priests. Moreover, I want us to be much more relaxed about talking about God as a mother as well as a father. I take exception to the inner city schools. That's the best and most generous thing we've ever done. We got to do more, and that's why I'm disappointed the Cardinal wouldn't take my money to help the church do it in Chicago.
I think you're afraid to say certain things here today because of certain rules that you are under.
No,
And you don't want to really express your opinion.
No.
Because you're...
Look, ma'am. The Cardinal doesn't want me. He doesn't want me, and he doesn't want my money, and he doesn't want my converts. I'm not afraid of them anymore.
No, I really have
If they try to throw me out, I wouldn't go. Yes.
The sense that Father Greeley is trying to stay with the commitment that he made and make changes from within by pointing up what he doesn't agree with, and we're attacking him for some of the same things that he's saying are wrong.
Can I quote somebody?
Father Greeley never answered the question, how much money has he given to the church in the past, and did they accept it then? Why all of a sudden won't they accept it? You've written a lot of bestsellers there. What happened to all the rest of the money from them? They must have taken some, Father.
I didn't write
have a vow of poverty.
I didn't write the books to make money. I don't think my net worth, whatever that is anything more now than it was before I started writing them. I've given it away in one form or another. I gave the church $150,000 for the seminary. They took that. I don't know why they didn't take the money for the inner city schools. There was something you said.
Well, while you're thinking.
Phil, you just asked my question, so never mind.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
To me, the whole issue is with religion. Everybody wants to do what they want to do, whether we like it or not. The Bible is right, whether we like it or not.
Yes. I think I'm arguing with that.
Father Greeley, you said before that you skirted some of the issues by saying you weren't a theologian, you're a sociologist. What is the difference? You are a priest.
I'm a priest, but to go on in a public platform, as this is, and pontificate in an area about which I'm not trained, I think is irresponsible. I can tell
you are amazingly untrained in the areas of controversy that oblige you to take...
I'm not a trained theologian. If Father Curran was here, it would be another matter. I'm not a theologian. I'll tell you what the sociology is of it. How American Catholics react. That's my field, theology.
What I want to say is there seems to be an ambiguity in the idea of rules. Governor Cuomo has been strongly attacked because of his views. And also right now, the Cardinal at St. Patrick is in with the right to life, so that the issues cannot be brought out, and you wonder, why?
How do you feel about the Cardinal coming down from on high and introducing himself into presidential and other campaigns?
I've known Mario Cuomo as a good friend since the early 70s. He is one of the best Catholics I've ever known, a better Catholic than any bishop I've ever met.
So why is he having so much trouble with Cardinal O'Connor?
Well, I guess you'd have to ask Cardinal O'Connor that. He doesn't have trouble with his own bishop in Brooklyn, I might add.
Yeah.
Could you please tell me if you're still a priest and how long you've been in the priesthood?
I'm still a priest. God willing, I'll always be a priest. I won't even leave if they try to throw me out, and I've been a priest for 32.5 years.
Yes.
Why doesn't the church publicize the internal forum as a means of reconciling remarried Catholics?
Internal forum, what's that mean?
Instead of an annulment process, it becomes a matter of conscience. Why isn't that brought public?
Well, I think it's, reasonably public. I mean, we don't buy an ad in the New York Times, but I think all priests know about it, and lots of lay people.
What?
And it's something that's done routinely. Well, internal forum. People come to the rectory, they say, we are convinced that our first marriage was not valid. We want our marriage to be valid. We want to go to the sacrament. We don't want to go through annulment. The priest talks to them, he listens to them, he says, okay. That's a very simplified version of it. Huh?
Where is that? Where do you get that? Does it depend on the diocese in which you live?
Somebody just said Long Island. I think in some dioceses, the priest would be more... It depends on the priest you talk to.
Annulments are free on Long Island? Well, that's good to know.
These are not annulments.
Yeah.
That's a cop-out annulment. Whatever happened to marriage forever?
Oh, you don't want to see annulment?
No, I don't.
You don't want to see divorce either?
No.
And, if he's a bum, you live with him. You made your bed, you lie in it.
You ought to think about it before you get married and get to know more.
That's a lot harsher than the church ever was at its worst.
But you don't know someone until you live with them.
I disagree. I didn't live with my husband before I married him, and I think he's just as wonderful now as he was then.
You lucked out. Not everybody lucks out. Some people hold back with what kind of a person they are.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
This is TV 18's Community Update. The next meeting of the Lafayette City Health Board will be held in the Board of Works Room, City Hall, Monday, October 13th at 8 p.m. A reminder that the United States Postal Service will operate on a holiday schedule on Columbus Day, Monday, October 13th. No regular residential or business deliveries will be made. Tax and Business Topics for the Modern 80s Woman is the title of the Women in Communications program to be held Wednesday, October 15th at 7 p.m. in the West Lafayette Public Library. Practical advice on nutrition for pregnancy and nursing is the topic of the Cesarean Prevention Movement of Lafayette's October meeting. The presentation will be held at the West Lafayette Public Library Tuesday, October 14th at 7 p.m. Indiana Resolve Incorporated will have a meeting Monday, October 13th at 7 p.m. in the West Lafayette Public Library. A specialist in male infertility will be the guest speaker. Indiana Epilepsy Services will present a program on AIDS public awareness on Monday, October 13th at 7 p.m. at the Methodist Church in Monticello. Lou Ann Baker, AIDS specialist with the Indiana Department of Health, will be the guest speaker. Matrix Lifeline is planning a fall training session for new volunteers. Matrix Lifeline provides assistance to women experiencing stressed pregnancies. The first of 2 sessions will be Tuesday at 7 p.m. For more information, contact a Matrix office at 742-1533. Widowed to Widowed will have its monthly gathering at Jerry's Restaurant near the Tippecanoe Mall on Tuesday, October 14th at 6 p.m. For more information or transportation, call 742-1800. The American Businesswomen's Lafayette chapter will have their business associate meeting at Mountain Jack's Tuesday, October 14th at 6 p.m. Community Update is a presentation of WLFI TV 18.
Is he still a parish priest? I'm asking.
Am I still a parish priest?
Father, why is it
I got to answer the question, huh? Sure. Yes, I do parish work in Tucson where I teach at the University of Arizona. I'm a parish priest. Though I think the people that read my books are also my parish.
But you are not officially assigned to a Catholic parish.
No, I'm not officially assigned.
So your parish work has to be described as occasional visitation and the saying of Mass at the leisure of your schedule at a place, at a parish in Arizona.
When I'm in Arizona, the leisure of my schedule is such that I'm in the parish every weekend.
Why is it that it seems like that the church is just revolved around money and they're not accepting your money?
I really don't know. You'd have to ask
I'm
the
not
cardinal.
a Catholic. Would you
I don't know
please
why.
spend some of that money you got to some orphanages, some other religions that will accept your money?
We've got hundreds of letters from people applying for the money. And one of my friends who's reading them tells me that she tries after every 10 or 12 letters. There's so many people out there that need the money, it's a terrible shame the church wouldn't take it.
Were you ever in love, Father Greeley?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Yes,
Hey. I'd like to know if before you became a priest, did you ever have sex?
Father, we don't have time to answer that question. And we'll be back in just a moment.
That's for me to know and for you to find out.
If you're like most people, you probably think you're getting enough fiber in your diet. You know what? You're probably not. In fact, the National Cancer Institute says we're probably getting only half the fiber we need. So I'm getting the half I'm missing with this Fiber One cereal. One bowl gives you the extra fiber you need every day. Imagine, one bowl once a day.
For the half you're missing.
Right. Fiber One. For the half you're missing.
The contest is over, and the winners are in the TV-18 U.S. Air See Donahue Live contest. We congratulate the following winners who won a dinner for two at Sarge Biltz's in Lafayette. And now we present the grand prize winner. It is Deborah Faye McClure of Wolcott, Indiana.
I seen the contest on the Donahue show, but I never thought I would win.
Deborah wins a trip for two on U.S. Air, nonstop to New York City to see the Donahue show live.
We've never been on a plane trip before, and it'll be a lot of fun to go on U.S. Air to New York.
TV-18 and U.S. Air thank everyone who entered the See Donahue Live contest.
Enter a world
of excitement, where fantasy comes to life, where the stakes are high and secrets lie. For your entertainment tonight, enter a world of excitement, enter the world of entertainment tonight.
Weeknights at 10:30 here on TV 18.
Good afternoon, I'm Mike Pickett. Tonight on the early edition of News Service 18, we'll have a report on the plan to do further study on the need for a new jail as the commissioners get proposals from professionals. We'll fill you in on the work being done to clean up wells on the north side, wells polluted by a chemical. And our Campaign 86 series profiling the candidates on the November ballot continues with tonight the candidates for county recorder. Those stories, plus Larry Clisby's sports and County Bonfine's weather forecast on the early edition of News Service 18 tonight at 6.
Andrew Greeley, Confessions of a Parish Priest. I'm pleased to call it to your attention. Yes, sir.
Father Greeley, you said that you don't agree with masturbation. Is that correct? I think it's only a sin if you're trying to enjoy pleasure with it.
Well, you know, I wouldn't give
Services
somebody
provided and promotional fees paid by the following.
If you're really serious about safety, maybe you should buy a Volvo instead.
An assortment of long-lasting True Value alkaline batteries will power your flashlights, tape players, calculators, and more. Available from True Value hardware stores.
The Drake offers an exciting weekend in New York at a special price. The only Swiss hotel on Park Avenue. For reservations, call 800-DRAKE-NEW YORK or 212-421-0900.
I know you join me in thanking Father Greeley for a very...
At Twin City Dodge Chrysler